So this concludes our section for polity. Next, we will be taking up some questions relating to modern Indian history. Modern Indian history, as you know, deals with the history of British rule in India. So basically, from 1757, the Battle of Plassey, up till 1947 is the modern Indian history. This is the most important one as far as your exams are concerned. There might be a few questions from ancient and medieval history also, but from this modern history, at least 4, 5, 6 questions you can expect. So first question for today: at which of the following places the Indian National Congress adopted the resolution of Poon Swaraj? At which place this adoption of resolution took place? So Poon Swaraj means, as the name suggests, complete independence. So before this resolution, the aim or the demand of the Indian National Congress was not that of a complete independence, but more voting rights, more franchise, more power to Indians, more members, more Indian members. So all these smaller demands were there. By this resolution of Poon Swaraj, the Congress said that enough is enough. Now we want complete independence from the British. So very, very important resolution. Poon Swaraj, you should know everything about it. First of all, it was done in 1929. The place was Lahore. The president of the Congress was Jawaharlal Nehru. So, meetings of this Indian National Congress were held annually, normally in the month of December. So, in December of 1929, this resolution was passed by the Congress, which called for complete freedom from the British or Poon Swaraj. See, now we might think that what's the big deal? Of course, we want full independence. But before 1929, this idea or this concept was very new. People did not dare to dream this big that they can be completely free. All they wanted was a little bit of power, more representation in the legislative assemblies, more representation in government offices by Indians. But now this breakthrough resolution was passed, which wanted full independence from this British rule. And under in this meeting also, 26 January 1930, the first pledge of Indian independence was taken. The tricolor was hoisted, and this day was declared as the Independence Day. So 26 January from then on every year was celebrated as the Independence Day by the Congress. From 1930 onwards, 26 January was celebrated as the Independence Day because Indians, the Congress, declared themselves independent from Britain on 26 January 1930. They said that from this day we are no longer under British rule, and British rule in India is illegal from this day. So that is why this 26th January was adopted as the date of completion of the constitution, also the adoption of constitution, because 15 August, that date was decided by the British. Indians wanted this 26th January date. So since independence date was already taken, so we decided to make it a Republic Day date. So 26th January, the history of this date is in 1930, India's first Independence Day was celebrated by the Congress in Lahore on the banks of River Ravi under the chairmanship of Jawaharlal Nehru. So very, very big event in the history of India, this date and this event. Okay. Which among the following was the correct title of the national anthem of India when it was originally penned by Rabindranath Tagore? So Rabindranath Tagore, you know, is the author of the national anthem of India. Now currently it is known as Jan Gan Man. Yes, but what was the original title? The original title is Bharat Vidhata. Okay, so this was originally written in Bengali. It was adopted in its Hindi version by the Constituent Assembly as the national anthem of India on 24 January, 2 days before the Constitution came into being. So all these dates you need not remember. But the second part you should remember that it was first sung by the Congress in 1911 in Calcutta session. So in 1911 this was first sung, and since it became very popular, it was adopted as the national anthem by the Constituent Assembly. Original name was Bharat Vidhata. Originally it was written in Bengali by Rabindranath Tagore. Its Hindi version was adopted as the national anthem. Okay. Who among the following introduced the subsidiary alliance system in India? So very important this system, and it completely changed India's history. Subsidiary alliance system. So it was introduced. This doctrine was introduced by Lord Wellesley in from who was the Governor General from 1798 to 1805, and he introduced this this doctrine rather in 1798. So as soon as he came into power, he proclaimed this Treaty of Subsidiary Alliance. Okay, very important this subsidiary alliance doctrine. Another very important doctrine is the doctrine of lapse, which was done by Lord Dalhousie. This subsidiary alliance doctrine was done by Lord Wellesley. So these you should definitely remember. So who was the first? Which was the first kingdom which came under this alliance? The Nizam of Hyderabad was the first to sign this alliance, was to accept this doctrine. He was the first Nizam of Hyderabad, which incidentally was also the biggest princely state of India, right up till independence. So the Nizam, which was a very wealthy and very big state, it came under this subsidiary alliance of the British in 1798 itself. Tipu Sultan, who was the ruler of Mysore, he refused to abide by this alliance, owing to which the British declared war, and the fourth Anglo-Mysore war was fought. Tipu Sultan was killed, and the British won. Mysore lost, and it was the new ruler was forced to sign this subsidiary alliance treaty with the British in 1799. So 1799 was the year in which the fourth Anglo-Mysore war was fought. Tipu Sultan was killed, and Mysore came under this doctrine of subsidiary alliance. And the third one, another very big, very important province, was the province of Awadh, and the Nawab of Awadh was the next one in this subsidiary alliance. So these three very powerful states through this alliance treaty came under British. So very important subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley. Next question. Who among the following drafted the Fundamental Rights Resolution at the Karachi session of 1931? So this session is the session for the Indian National Congress annual session held in December. So as we just discussed, in 1929 this session was held in Lahore. In 31 it was held in Karachi. So this you must know first of all. And in this session also was very important, because in this Karachi session, two resolutions were passed by the Congress. One was the resolution on fundamental rights. Another was a resolution on national economic program. So these two resolutions very important, and these resolutions formed a part of the actual constitution also, which was later on compiled by the Constituent Assembly. So that Constituent Assembly adopted these resolutions as well. So the fundamental rights that the Congress declared in 31 were more or less the same that we have now. And the National Economic Program, which the Congress declared in 1931, was more or less what was adopted by the Government of India after independence. Because it was drafted by Pandit Nehru, who also was the first Prime Minister of India. So he followed this economic program also. And the fundamental rights which right, freedom of speech and expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of press, all these things were adopted in the actual constitution also. And first of all, they were proclaimed in 1931. So this session of the Congress in Karachi was also very important. This session was held right after the civil disobedience movement ended, and Gandhi and Lord Irwin was the viceroy at that time. So Gandhi-Irwin Pact was done right before this meeting of the Congress, and afterwards these resolutions were passed. And a few days before this meeting, Bhagat Singh was also hanged in 1931, 23rd of March. After that, this meeting was held, and in this meeting, these two very important resolutions were passed by the Congress. Clear? So the question originally was, who drafted these resolutions? The answer is A, Nehru.